Hey Chris, I just wanted to explain the 2 hours spent on restoring Elizabeth Byron a little bit because that might seem high compared to the other stuff. Anyway, it probably was closer to 3.5, but well, I'll explain what I did and then you will understand. Okay, so this is the backup that you get when you back up a MySQL database. It is in the form of a text file, and it says we see over 10,000 lines long. So the first idea was to create a new database, Fisher Newsmark 2, and restore this to that database, then select the records we want, and then move them over here. Uh, Move them from the newly created database to Fisher Newsmark, specifically the timesheets table. But running this produced like 75 errors. Why that is, I don't know. You would think that a backup file run directly in the MySQL or in the SQL window here would automatically work, but for whatever reason, reality intrudes. So I said, all right, well, let's just bring in the timesheet table. Of course, restoring the user Elizabeth Byron, that was easy. I just did that by hand. I looked at the record and boom, 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 copied that in. So I created a table over here, all old timesheets, and I just paired the total backup down to just that one table and ran the SQL, which you have in here, insert into timesheets. Quick aside, why didn't I just empty out the timesheets table here, empty that out completely, and bring all the records from the backup into that one, all right? Because in between the time I made this backup and when I get the email to restore the user Elizabeth Byron or Brian or whichever it is, some new timesheets were added. So if I had deleted all the timesheets from here and restored from here, then the new timesheets would have been eliminated. So, all right. So I tried to bring all of those into all old timesheets, and I got a bunch of errors on that one. And now, computers 101, you know how it is. For some reason, the backup put in some extra lines in here. Insert into timesheets. That's just a repetition of the original line right there. At first I didn't see how that could be a problem. I'm looking at the line above and below, but that was indeed the problem. So then at that point, because before I debugged that, I thought, let's just put this into Excel, and I know Elizabeth Byron's ID is 12, and then we'll do a data sort on 12, and then we'll pick out all the 12s, and I'll create something like this. And that proved a little bit cumbersome because it kept missing commas and it wasn't formatting it right. And now I'm at the 2 hour mark right there. And then I thought, wait a minute, we'll try to debug this a little more. And I figured out what the problem was. That line there, there's 5 or 6 others, took those out. Then I uploaded it's the contents of the original timesheet table to all old timesheets. We're going to click on that now. And then what I did was I said delete from all old timesheets where user ID not 12. Okay, that's leaving behind only Elizabeth Byron's timesheets. Then I exported that to a text file backup, and then I created a little SQL thing that said insert into timesheets, and they were just the ones with user ID 12, and there were like 30 of them. So that way I'm adding only Elizabeth Byron's timesheets into the timesheet table. Now, if I had known exactly the syntax error here, or if I hadn't futzed with Excel, then it would have only taken 2 hours. But it was all told more like 3.5. But part of that was I shouldn't have futzed with Excel, and I was a little rusty with some of the SQL here, so I put it down to 2. That being said, I know some customers would say all this other stuff seems, the 2 hours for this seems way too much. I'll put it that way. But in reality, it wasn't. And I will end this by saying that maybe a organized strategy of backups for this company would be something to think about. I'll make another video about that, because I mean there were 10,000 lines in that SQL backup, a lot of records in there, so that should probably be backed up on a regular basis. Anyway, that's all for now.